All right, so what we have here is a Alpina BMW, and this is a special edition. This is a company that takes the car from BMW and does their own twist on it, and they've been doing this for many, many years. So any of you BMW guys out there will know about the Alpina BMW. But what we're gonna be doing today is matching this factory satin paint job. And you guys may think it's easy. Well, it's not. You got a lot of variants that come into play, not only with the actual sheens on the satin, but you have to really check your color, because you're not able to really see the color because you're looking at it with a matte finish over the top of it. So in this video, we're gonna be shooting some parts for this car, getting our color verified, getting our satin verified. That way we have a beautiful match on this one, because this is a very high-end car. So let's go ahead and get into this video, and I'll show you guys what we're doing to the car. All right, so this car took a shot to the wheel. You guys see here, it's damaged very badly. And then it had a little bit of suspension work done to it. So we're gonna be replacing the rocker and the bumper, because it hit, as it came in, it hit the bumper and the rocker and then the wheel. So the biggest thing when you're doing these satin finishes is making sure that your sheen is right. Because what'll happen is your color won't look right, because the actual clear changes the color. So it'll go to a darker shade the shinier you have your satin. So with this one here, I went ahead and shot the semi-gloss. This is different from the last time we did the Audi. This car has a little bit more sheen than that Audi had. So what we're gonna be doing is mixing up a custom mix, because this one looks a little bit too shiny, and then the satin looks a little bit too dull. So without that being perfect, the color's gonna look way off. And in this video here, we're gonna go ahead and mix up a custom mix of a little bit of the satin with a little bit of the semi-gloss. That way we can dial this color in. All right, so we've got the new cover and we've got the new rocker. We're gonna go ahead and get them prepped up. We're gonna be using a K600. I like to use the Sky Pads, and a lot of these newer covers have all kinds of angles and moldings that clip in. So you wanna make sure that you get them really good sanded inside here, because that way the paint is gonna stick when they go to pop in the lower part of these bumpers. So let's go ahead and get these prepped out. That way we can get them clean and in the booth, and then we can start our painting process on this one. All right, so we scuffed these down with the K600. These are a primed part, so you're not gonna have to worry about the adhesion promoter like when you're doing a raw bumper. So first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and get them cleaned up. We're gonna wipe them down with our prep salt and our waterborne cleaner. And we've got a brand new microfiber towel on this one. That way we can have less lint, and these really do a really thorough job of cleaning the parts up. So let's get them clean. And the first thing that we're gonna be doing on this video is dialing in the sheen of the satin. So you guys know I showed you the card of the semi-gloss. We're gonna go ahead and mix up a cocktail, and we're gonna spray that card, and we're gonna see where we're at with our sheen before we even get started on these jobs. All right, so I want to show you guys now what we have here for the mixing of the satin clear. So this is the clear that we're going to be using here. This is the DC8117, and this has another one that goes with it, the 8115. So if you guys see here on the screen, we have the FC05, which is the semi-gloss. That's what we already mixed, and then they have the satin. What I want to do is add a little bit of the satin in with the semi-gloss. That way we're gonna get just a little more matting into the satin look, and I think that's what we're gonna need. So what we'll do is we'll take this card, we'll tape off the bottom, and then we'll spray our 2 coats of the special mix clear and see where we're at with it. All right, so we've got our satin clear applied to the spray out card. That is a custom mix. What I did was, the semi-gloss has straight 8117 in it, but they don't have a mixture for a real gloss that I need. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of the 8115 into the 8117 just to give it a little bit more of a satin look. So when you're applying your semi-gloss or your satin clear coat, you gotta make sure that you let each coat fully flash off before you apply your second coat. Otherwise, you're gonna have patchy areas and you're not gonna have one uniform finish. So we're gonna go ahead and let that card set up. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and seal the parts. That way we can get into the base coat, because I did do a spray out card yesterday. You guys see that we had our spray out card already dialed in for the color, and I'll let that one tack up and I'll show you guys how I check my color when I'm doing these satin finishes. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this thing sealed up. All right, so we've got our spray out card now with our clears on it. We've got the one up top and the one on the bottom. You guys can see it's definitely looks different depending on what gloss level you have on the panel. But to verify your color, you're gonna wanna get your wax and grease remover, and you're gonna go ahead and wet up the panel. That way you have a gloss on that and you have a gloss on this, and that's gonna allow you to see your color, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to see your metallics and your flop and all that stuff. You guys can see there when they're both wet, that color is on the money. So what we're gonna have to do is get the satin sheen on the money, because we know our color is right, but if the sheen is not identical to this, it's gonna change the color, because it's gonna have a different gloss level, which will make it look darker. So we've got our color verified. You guys know we did that already. Now we've got our different line here of our mix clear. We're gonna go ahead and get our base coat on, being that we've already verified that that color is on the money, and then we'll move into our clear coat. All right, so how do you guys like it all finished up? No, I'm just kidding, but that is how it will look once it is cleared. And you definitely don't want to ever think that you're going to just use a base coat and that's going to be good enough, because that will never hold up outside to the elements as well as the sun. So now that we have our base all on there nice and even, you guys see it's nice and satin, and that's the way that hopefully the outside of this is going to look, because these jobs have to be very, very clean, because you cannot polish them being a satin part. So we've got our base coat on. We put 2 coats of base, and we did do a control coat, being this is a metallic job. And we're gonna go ahead and apply the clear coat now. All right, so that's one coat of the satin clear coat. You guys see it looks like it's shiny when it goes on, and then it will dull out. And you do not want to turn the heat up to let it dull out. You want to just let it do its thing on its own. I'm running the booth at about 80 degrees right now. It is cold here in Florida, so we have the heat on at about 80, and that's going to let it sheen out nice and even. But I can't tell you guys enough to make sure that you let your first coat fully matte out before you go in there and you apply coat 2. We're going to only be putting 2 coats of this clear on. That's what they want for the good holdout and the good UV protection from PPG. So I'll bring you guys back in and show it to you once it mattes out, and then we'll be putting coat 2 on. All right guys, so this here is the bumper by the vehicle. I wanted to show it to you guys close to the car. That way you could see the sheen from the original OE to the nice satin that we put on this one here from PPG. So we did do a custom mix when we were mixing this one up, I told you guys. So we mixed up a 23 ounce of clear coat, which is the medium size cup. And then I put 53 grams of the 8115 in to give it a little bit more satin, because that semi-gloss was too much, and then the original satin that they had from PPG was not right either. So by putting that cocktail mix in, you guys see we duplicated the factory look. So when you're doing these satin jobs, you're gonna have to do spray out cards, and you may have to get a custom mix as well. That way you can get the actual look that you need. So I think we achieved it well. If you guys look here real close, you'll see how nice the sheen is against that. Came out nice and clean. And I'm really happy with the outcome on this one. So if you guys are new to the channel and you like automotive painting, anything to do with cars in a body shop, this is the channel for you guys. So we'll see you guys on the next one.